Okay, so good evening, Mr. Ayuko, and thank you for joining our career navigation series of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, Rivers State Chapter. We appreciate you for taking the time from your very busy schedule to join us. You're welcome.
My name thank you.
Sebastian.
It's always a pleasure to be on any event with Chartered Secretaries and all of that. I'm just so glad I feel privileged to be here.
Okay, so my name is Sebastian Essien. I'm the Vice President of the Institute Rivers State Chapter, and also the Chairman of the Training and Governance Committee of the Rivers Chapter. So I'll be taking you through the next 30 minutes or so to talk to you so that we can hear from you and learn from you, so that our students, our members out there will actually know that there's a greener path, on the line for corporate secretaries and governance professionals. So to commence, I would like you tell us who you are, your name, your professional qualifications, what you do, where you work. At least let's know you.
Okay, good. Thank you so much again. I want to use the opportunity to thank the River State ICSAN, the ex-schools. Thank you so much for having me here. I don't take it lightly, and thank you so much. I know you, but let me just quickly say that I am Ayokunle Ayoko. I'm ACS, FIMC, CMC, CA, and MIO. I'm a Chartered Secretary. I've worked in different industries. I've worked in the banking industry. I've been in the capital market. I've been in the manufacturing industry. I've practiced as well in the insurance and banking industries. My specialty is legal advisory, company secretarial, legal drafting, compliance, risk management, and I've done some HR management as well. I started off with I worked in different places until 2012, where I joined First Bank. I joined this company secretariat of First Bank. While I was at the company secretariat of First Bank, that's when the idea of adopting an holding company structure came up. And so we're the team that worked on the FBN Holdings structure. So, I keep telling a few people that, there was a time FBN Holdings as we know it now.
Okay, so good evening, Mr. Ayuko, and thank you for joining our career navigation series of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, Rivers State Chapter. We appreciate you for taking the time from your very busy schedule to join us. You're welcome.
Thank you,
Sebastian.
It's always a pleasure to be on any event with Chartered Secretaries and all of that. I'm just so glad I feel privileged to be here.
Okay, so my name is Sebastian Essien. I'm the Vice President of the Institute Rivers State Chapter, and also the Chairman of the Training and Governance Committee of the Rivers Chapter. So I'll be taking you through the next 30 minutes or so to talk to you so that we can hear from you and learn from you, so that our students, our members out there will actually know that there's a greener path, on the line for corporate secretaries and governance professionals. So to commence, I would like you tell us who you are, your name, your professional qualifications, what you do, where you work. At least let's know you.
Okay, good. Thank you so much again. I want to use the opportunity to thank the River State ICSAN, the ex-schools. Thank you so much for having me here. I don't take it lightly, and thank you so much. I know you, but let me just quickly say that I am Ayokunle Ayoko. I'm ACS, FIMC, CMC, CA, and MIO. I'm a Chartered Secretary. I've worked in different industries. I've worked in the banking industry. I've been in the capital market. I've been in the manufacturing industry. I've practiced as well in the insurance and banking industries. My specialty is legal advisory, company secretarial, legal drafting, compliance, risk management, and I've done some HR management as well. I started off with I worked in different places until 2012, where I joined First Bank. I joined this company secretariat of First Bank. while I was at the company secretary of First Bank, that's when the idea of adopting an holding company structure came up. And so we're the team that worked on the FBN Holdings structure. So, I keep telling a few people that, there was a time FBN Holdings as we know it now. I started off majorly. So I worked in different places. I worked with Synergy attorneys. So I started off my career in litigation. So I worked closely with AG Owonokoko SAN, where I was exposed initially to litigation. And then from there, I moved over to a law firm, which was, From there, I moved on to Spring Capital Limited at the time. It used to be the capital arm of Spring Bank, which is now known as Pan-African Capital. Then from there, I worked also in LPC Solicitors. And from LPC Solicitors, I joined First Bank in 2012. So I worked in the company secretariat for First Bank for about a year. So at that time, it coincided with when First Bank wanted to adopt the holding company structure. So we were the team that worked on it. So after it was concluded, the group felt, why don't you move over there and be part of the pioneer staff? So I was there for a while till I think it was about 2015 when I was then appointed to 3 of the subsidiaries of the company. So I was appointed then to FBN Insurance Brokers, FBN General Insurance, and FBN Insurance Limited. Now, FBN General Insurance and FBN Insurance were jointly owned by FBN Holdings and Salam in South Africa. So it was quite, a lot on my plate at that time because, it was like holding 4 roles in one because I was still at group office and, I was doing company secretarial for these companies. And these were not small companies. FBN Insurance was 50 billion yearly turnover kind of company. So, so I had a lot of stakeholders to manage. I mean, I had literally 4 board of directors to report to and to manage as well. And of course, they were not directors that were based in Nigeria only, they were also South African. So it was multi-national. So I was there till 2018 when I left the FBN Holdings Group and of course, the subsidiaries as well. And I joined Beja Prince Nigeria PLC in 2018 as company secretary and legal advisor. In terms of awards, I've won quite a few. I won the 40 under 40 Nigerian Legal Awards by ESQ magazine. I'm above 40 now anyway, so but I was below 40. And I also won the 2022 law category for 40 under 40 Africa Awards, which was organized in Ghana by the Ministry of Arts and Culture and Social Communication. And I also won the 2020 Modern Governance Global Award by Diligence Corporation, New York.
Wow.
I have, in terms of academic pedigree, I have an LLB from the University of Ibadan. I am a certified management consultant, a certified compliance analyst. I'm a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants and the Global Academy of Finance and Management, which is based in the US. In terms of associations, I'm a council member of GLG New York. I'm a director with Kensington Academy Limited. I'm a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, International Bar Association, Society for Corporate Governance, Nigeria, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, and of course, and as well the Institute of Directors, Nigeria. Wow. So that basically signals what my career has so far.
Thank you very much. That's quite loaded, Ayoko. And you actually took the next question out of my mouth. I wanted to find out how you position yourself for that role as company secretary, but you sort of took it out. I guess that was when you did that job for assignment for the First Bank Group, right?
Yeah.
Was that how it started? Was that how you started?
No, that's not exactly how it started, actually. Yeah. It started off when I was in Synergy Attorneys, which was predominantly a litigation-focused firm. Okay. I always wanted to, do company secretarial job. And so by the time I was sending out my CVs and I was applying, I was looking out for in-house counsel role and all of that. So the first opportunity then came with Spring Capital. So when they invited me for an interview, and they said they needed the legal officer, I was more than willing. The pay wasn't so rewarding, but I wanted that, that area of work. And so when I joined Spring Capital at the time, I assisted the company secretary to run the department, and they also had a subsidiary which was not very active, but it was called Atlantic Edge, which was a fund raising and factoring company at the time, and fundraising and company at the time. So for that subsidiary, I was asked to act as the company secretary as well. So I'll say that was my first taste at being a company secretary.
I see.
So when I left Spring Capital, I coincidentally went back to a law firm, and in my conversation with the promoters of the firm at that time, the managers and the partners of the firm, I told them that, look, I now have a team for company secretarial practice, because at that time they wanted me in legal advisory unit, and I told them that, look, I have a team for company secretarial practice, so I'll not want to just be shoehorned into one department. So they said, okay, you know what? Yes, we will allow you to be in both departments, but do not think that because you're in both departments, we will give you more time to do both jobs. We will still demand the same time. I said, no problem. So yes, I was willing, at that time, I'll say that I was willing to take on the pressure because I loved company secretarial practice, and that's where it started. So by the time I went to First Bank, it was just like, okay, company secretarial purely, and that's where, I started a lot of things, and the journey has been from there, it's been more focused towards company secretarial from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yoko, for that. Now, let me ask you, what is the best thing about being a chartered secretary? Because I see a lot of excitement in your voice when you're talking about the role as the roles you've done the past few years. How long? First of all, how long have you been in this role in total? Because I know you've said a lot. Yes.
Okay. For Berger Paint, it's been 4 years. But in terms of company secretarial, if you look at my entire company secretarial experience, I've been a company secretary. I've been company secretary for cumulatively for about 12, 13 years.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. So because I was company secretary for 9, 8 years, about 10 years in the Airbnb group. Now 4 in Berger Paint. So that's effectively 14 years. Cumulative.
Yes, that's 14 years. So what's the best thing about being a chartered secretary? Tell us.
Interesting question. Beautiful question. I think I'll say that it's one, in terms of the word, chartered secretary. Best thing is that being chartered gives you that mark of certification, that mark of standardization, especially from from an academic point of view, to say that look, yeah, you are a master of being a company secretary. Now, not necessarily not necessarily will I say that, the fact that you're not chartered does not mean you're not qualitative, but I mean, being chartered gives you that extra level of, confidence, that extra level of certification that yes, you are a master in this field, so that's one exciting thing about being chartered. But in terms of, the exciting thing about being a company secretary, I'll say it's more of your closeness to decision-making, your ability to influence and impact the effectiveness of the board, the ability to actually make an impact in the decision-making process. I think a lot of company secretaries and a lot of, corporate governance practitioners underrate this impact, or this, this role, because at the end of the day, you are helping the board make decisions, you are helping them with their effectiveness, you are there to follow up on their decisions when they are not there, such that you are their eye when they are not sitting. So it's exciting. It's a decision-making process. So it's so key. And depending on how diligent you are on the job, you can actually exercise a major level of influence on decision-making and the board in general. And of course, when you impact the board, which is the tone at the top, of course, the impact on the company cannot, be understated.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. But will it be all that rosy? What are your challenges? Have there been challenges?
It has not been rosy. Company secretarial work is such that you are dealing with big people, so to say. You are dealing with a lot of egos. You are dealing with people that can be at times unforgiving. So you need a lot of emotional intelligence. You need a lot of sensitivity to body language. You need a lot of attention to details. However, you can't be perfect. And so there will be times when, you drop the ball.
Yeah.
There will also be times where you are just growing. You are learning the whole art of managing big egos. You are learning the whole art of managing relationship management and stakeholder management. So along the line, you are not going to be perfect from the beginning. There are some things you will learn with experience. There are some things you will learn, as you grow on, the ladder. So I'll say that I've made my fair share of mistakes, and I know that I had a real difficult time with one of my directors, and not one of my directors, my chairman in one of the companies I served as, as company secretary within the MN of this group. And the major challenge at that time was because, we had a situation where, I was seconded to that those subsidiaries by the parent company. So the parent company at times might not be in sync. And we had that problem majorly with one subsidiary. So the parent company at times, the decision from the parent company at times is not in sync with the subsidiary board. So you now have a situation where the subsidiary board is looking at you as their company secretary and saying, okay, so we are conflicting with the parent company. So who are you going to stand with? Yeah? So, and you are torn between, the person that appoints you there and, the local board for which is your immediate supervisory body. So it takes a lot of it takes a lot of tact, it takes a lot of prayer, and it takes a lot of maturity to handle those kind of situations. At that time, I think I probably wasn't all that mature as I am now in that kind of situation which faced me, and so I'll say that it was tough at that time. But then again, like I said, there are some things that you learn with time, and there are things you learn with experience. So I've since learned how to manage those kind of situations, such that you do a lot of back end relationship management before it becomes an issue. So yeah, it's not been easy. It's been a topsy-turvy journey, which is expected of any journey that you are going to be good at. There's never going to be a smooth journey, and those kind of experiences are the experiences that teach you. You don't learn so much from success stories as much as from bad stories. So those experiences teach you, they shape you, and as if you're a determined person, you let those kind of experience, you learn from it and make you a better person, rather than look at it and run from them. So I'll say that yes, it's been a tough journey, but I've enjoyed it, because at the end of the day, I know that whatever it is that is thrown at me makes me a better person at the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure that our audience will find your thoughts very, very useful and helpful as they navigate through their career paths. And let me ask you this question. There are lots of people, students, and even members, even those who have qualified, who are finding it very tough. They don't understand what they are into or whatever they're doing. Could you just share some tips on how people like that can position themselves for career success? Because looking at you look successful. Look at your career trajectory. It's been quite, despite the challenges and all that. Share some tips. Let's hear from you, so that that can help up and coming, and even those who are already there to learn.
Beautiful. Good question. Like I said, the company secretarial position is one that has a lot of challenges. Especially, and if you don't navigate it properly, you can actually get burnt. And it's a slippery slope as well. So one of the things I'll say, however, that can help you is, number one, you have to be diligent in what you do. You have to be extremely diligent. So if you're said to be, the company secretary, you are the first line of legal advisory to the board. They want to know, they are having conversations and they want to know anything about law or about corporate governance. It's you. They are looking across the table, they are looking at you, they want you to give them guidance. And for some of us that carry the title legal advisor, they are expecting you to give them the first line of legal advisory. Now, if a board is properly composed as well, you'll notice that you are likely to have lawyers with extensive years of experience sitting on your board.
Exactly.
So you do not want to, what it then means is that whatever advisory the board is going to be asking from you, you want it to be such that it will pass the table of that person that has legal experience on the board.
Yes.
It stands the test of time. So that emphasizes and restates the need for you to be on top of your game in terms of the advisory you give, in terms of the quality of the service you give, in terms of the minute writing, in terms of everything you do, every service you provide for the board, you must be on top of your game. Otherwise, it starts second guessing you, and it makes the board second guessing you, and they start losing the trust in you. Trust me, you will start having a lot of problems across everything you do. So you want to always be on top of your game. You want a case whereby the board is having a conversation and they are saying that there is a law that has been passed by the National Assembly. I read it in the papers, and I'm like, yes, we saw it as well. We've prepared an opinion and a review. It's part of the papers for today's board, and they are like, oh, okay, cool. You are there. You are on top of your game. So you must be diligent, and I think it's a scriptural principle that talks about, have you seen a man diligent in his work, he will stand before kings. Yes. Again, in terms of, of course, in the interplay of, and the board dynamic and the dynamics of board cohesion, there are times where you probably have one or two different groups on the board where, you might have a clique, or in some instances, you might have a category of directors that are on one side on an issue, and another directors on another issue on the other side. So as company secretaries, you must never lean. You must never be seen to be partial. You must never lean to either side, because at the end of the day, if there's a conflict on the board, it's good for them to be able to look at you and say, okay, can you intervene? Can you be that impartial person to intervene? I think I've been able to do that significantly well, especially in my current role. And I've had cases where, I've been able to be in that position. But like I said, you can't be in that position if you are seen to be impartial, or you are seen to have an interest or have a position on matters. So I'll say that's another point. Two, another point is that, you must be emotionally aware. I don't know, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Just give me a sec.
Sebastian, I think I lost you.
Yeah, just give me a sec. So I'm resuming. Okay.
Right. So I was trying to say, as a company secretary, you do not want to be seen to be partial or be leaning towards any group on the board, especially when there is a conflict and all of that. So you want to be seen as a trusted partner. And so you want to be seen in a position where, for instance, if there's a conflict, you can actually come in and see if you can be an impartial arbiter. So you don't want to show partiality. You must learn to always stand away from taking positions. Then you should be emotionally aware and intelligent. Part of what the role of the chairman is to ensure cohesion on the board. However, the chairman is just one person. So his eyes and ears can't be sufficient to know what is going on the board. So the company secretary will prove very useful in knowing and being emotionally aware of things that are happening on the board, such that he can draw the attention of the chairman to say, I think this person is not happy about this. I think you should address this. I think this should happen. So you can't do all of this if you're not emotionally aware and you're not, intelligent, emotionally intelligent as well. So it's something I also encourage people to, beyond your skills, beyond the company secretarial work, there are some, soft skills you need to be excellent on the job.
Well spoken.
Another thing I'll recommend also as well is that, a company secretary is only as good, is as good as the team. If you don't have a good team around you, you probably struggle to perform well. So it's always very important to build a good team. And so part of what it is as well is that aside the business continuity advantages, aside the succession planning advantages, what it also does is that you are aiding, you are building a team, you are building people, and you are helping the organization, so to say, build capacity. So very important for to have a good team. And
so
also
by team, you mean, by team, you mean, who are your team? My team?
Well, when you say team, I'm talking about the company secretarial department.
Okay.
The company secretarial is important that you have, because at the end of the day, you are not the only one supporting the board. You are literally the entire team that is supporting the board of directors as well. So developing your capacity is important. Developing your team is important as well. And finally, I'll say that it's important to leverage on the network. Network is very important in this job. No matter how good you are not perfect. You need people. You need to know people. You need to be able to. There are some situations that I've had that we've been able to solve, not at our own local level, but at the level of the committee of company secretaries. So I belong to a committee of company secretaries, about 2 or 3 committees like that. That we get some letters and we're like, what? How do we attend to this? How do we react to this M block? And then it works. It works when, for instance, every company is saying that this is the position we are going to take, and they can't single out one person. So yes, you need your network both for the company and even for you as an individual, because you can't be perfect. You need some people you can reach out to say, what, I have a situation. What would you rather do in this kind of situation? So those are the things I'll say that are the tips that come to my head at the minute.
Wow, that's just so much. That's fantastic. So with a bit of a hindsight now, what advice will you give your younger self, Yoko? What would you say? Looking back, is it any regrets?
Well, not a lot. I've not. I usually just learn to thank God for whatever situation I am. But maybe I would have asked myself to be a little bit more focused and approach my targets and my goals with a little bit more urgency at the earlier part of my career. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot to be achieved, and maybe I would have wanted a little bit of more focus and urgency at the earlier part of my career as well. And again, maybe I would have told myself at the younger time to relax a bit more, because I seem to take life a little too serious.
Wow. It's okay. Let me ask you this. What are your most rewarding achievements? I know at the beginning you outlined some of your awards and all that. Is it just those, or are there lots more that you could just share with us? Probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Good question. Let me look at it from a professional point of view. When I remember that, when I joined Virgin Paints PLC, part of what they, spoke to me about was that, the previous, they wanted a good AGM. And, I looked at it, I saw that, there seemed to be a little issue at the previous AGM. So I knew that, we had to deliver a good AGM. And, by the time we got to work and we started working and we did everything, we did a lot of stakeholder management, stakeholder relationship management and all of that. And, we ensured that, a lot of detail was went into the preparation for the AGM and all of that. And so by the time we finished and we had an absolutely smooth AGM, I was happy, because at that time, the former chairman of the company walked up to me and said, look, the quality of the AGM is reflective of the quality of the company secretary. So if you have a perfect AGM like this, that shows, the quality of your person. And that reflected so well. I was happy to hear that. And, I'll say that it's an achievement that I do not take lightly. Again, part of what I also try to do is manage contingent liability of the company very well, because at the end of the day, I believe the company secretary is not just a law person, he's also somebody that is, a business partner.
Yes.
There is a business partner that should be concerned about the bottom line, that should be concerned about the bottom line as well. So I try as much as possible to adopt the approach of, what should be my approach towards managing contingent liability and the litigation portfolio of the company. So I'm always looking at it to say that, look, how does it impact the bottom line? So I know that by the time I joined the company, we had a lot of cases, but through case management, through negotiation, through effective analysis of the company's position, we've been able to take a lot of that, to zero at the end of the 2021 financial year. So I'll say it's something I take a lot of pride in. And also, when I joined Virgin Paints as well, at that time, there was a lot of discussion on the board at that time to outsource the preparation of the minute of the of some of the policies at that time. But we spoke to the board and we asked them for an opportunity to develop these policies in-house, and we're able to do so. So those are some of the things that we did. And one of the things I also know that I also introduced when I joined Royal Pains was that I said, look, the minutes turnaround time must be much faster than it was before. And yes. I've always been a big proponent, and I keep in all trainings I attend, I tell people that, look, you can actually churn out meetings within days, within hours, because part of what we do and part of what I always propose and is that we prepare minutes of meetings in advance of meetings. So the bulk of the meetings are already prepared before we do the meeting. So by the time we just have the decisions, we just slot in the decision. And in some instances, I can tell you that I've churned out board of minutes. We've churned minutes of the board meeting 2 hours after a board meeting before. So in those kind of days, you have your directors who call in and saying, "Wow, how in God's name are you able to achieve this?" So those are achievements that I feel proud to have done. And I think it speaks to diligence. And like I said, diligence is something I take a lot of pride in. And I think it's some of the achievements I feel so proud about. And that's also again, final thing I'll probably just mention. Will probably be the one. We've been able to effectively manage our stakeholders. And we've also been able to set up an automated system of regulatory compliance. Since I joined Royal Pains till now, it's been zero breaches. It's been zero regulatory breaches, and I'm proud of that. Because part of what we try to do is that the year before, the outgoing year, we set up a compliance calendar. We look at all our regulatory obligations. We set it up. We pinpoint it to dates and time, and then by the time we set it up, we put everybody that is involved in that chain, we put it on their outlook, and then, we are always, so the system is reminding everybody that needs to do something that, look, in 5 days, you need to do this, in 6 days, you need to do this. And, that's how we've been able to make sure that, the company does not run afoul of any regulatory obligation. So yes, these are things I'm proud about. And I'm sure that, there's still more to be done. And, but in a synopsis, those are the things I've been able to achieve, and I'm proud of it as part of my career highlights.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yoko. It's been quite interesting and the conversation with you this evening. Just a final word to inspire budding governance professionals who are still uncertain before we let you go. I mean, you've been there, you've gone up, you've come down, you've seen it all, and let them hear from you. Let's all hear from you, and then perhaps could give some direct. Yes.
I'll say that basically what I'm going to say to them is what I've tried to hammer all through this interview, which is, number one, you need to be diligent. You need to be on top of your game. You need to go the extra mile. Don't do the basic. Don't. I've heard somebody say things like, I was recruited for this, but they are giving me this work. I shouldn't take it. But I keep telling them that, look, any work you do develops your mastery. It expands your capacity. Be diligent, do the extra mile, go the extra mile. Those inconveniences you are suffering now, at the end of the day, after some time, they will pay you for it, and it will become rewarding. And there's still a lot. There's a whole lot that can be gained within the in-house company secretarial space. We are merely scratching the surface. There are so many things that we are planning. I've engaged the leadership of the AB at different points, and there are so many things we are talking about that company secretaries should be enjoying that currently we are not enjoying, and it's majorly because we are not in the room where decisions are being made. So I encourage anybody to look at this to in-house counsel role. It's a big role. It's an influential role, and if you are already in the role, you probably will notice that at times when you go for those MBA conferences, lawyers are always running after you trying to get your card, because why? They know that to a large extent you have a lot of say in where briefs are going. So it's an influential role not only within the company, but it's also influential outside of the company. And so it's a respectable profession. And the only way you can all enjoy the profession is to be good at what you do. And the minute you are good at what you do, the sky is just a stepping point. The profession will keep getting better. There is an increasing regulation, there's an increasing recognition of what company secretaries bring to the table, and it can only get better from here. So I encourage you to, join the conversation, join ICSAN, listen to discussions on ICSAN, develop capacity, and with time you'll be surprised at what company secretarial role can bring to you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Yuko. It's been a very lively, interesting evening. On behalf of the chairman and the entire leadership of the Rivers State chapter, we want to thank you once again for taking out your time to share with us your experiences in this session's career navigation series. Thank you once again. And
thank you.
Look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you so much. It was
in the next few days, sure.
I'm happy to be part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.